Hey, what is up? In case we've never met face to face in person, let me just say my name's Trevor, and thank you for joining the VRL Kids sub team. A lot of you that will be watching this video, I've been just cold calling to say, hey, here's kind of where we're at. Our number one goal is that we would help kids reach Jesus. We want to help them be introduced to who he is, discover who he is, follow him, all these sorts of things. The same things that VRL wants for the grown-ups, we want for the kids. But the difference is that we do a 1 hour service for adults, and then we really encourage you to serve somewhere and be in a life group and go deeper there. And in kids, we don't do life groups midweek, so we have to do all of that in 1 hour. And so specifically over the summer, a lot of our weekly regular volunteers are gone. They take the summer off. They take they go camping. And so I've probably said this to you already, but what you are helping us do is maintain those relationships while the consistency of kids and leaders are sort of ebbing and flowing. And so I'm going to tell you what we do. And I'm also going to give you the cheat sheet for what you do as someone who's not going to consistently be in the classroom, and why what you do makes such a huge impact. So, let me just start off by saying this. We start our services at 8 o'clock, 9:30, 11 o'clock, or 6:30 p.m. on Thursdays. And our doors open 15 minutes before. So if you are volunteering on a weekend at the 8 a.m. service, please be there by 7:45, because again, as families and as kids are showing up, we want to have leaders in the room ready to go, ready to greet them. And so this is, again, how to be successful, be there on time, and on time for a leader is just 15 minutes early, because as the kids show up, we're there. Our format is, I call it small group, large group, small group. And so every leader, you get this sent to you the week in advance. Now, as a sub, we might call you on Wednesday and say, hey, enough leaders are gone. Can you come in? So you might not get this on Monday, but still, it has an opening small group. It has the second small group, and I'll explain that in 1 second. It has our big idea for the week, and it has what Bible story we're going to be teaching. Here's how this works. Kids come in when we get started. Well, I'm going to use the 8 o'clock service as the example. We're going to get started at 8:05. We give a 5-minute buffer. If a new family is showing up and they're getting checked in, it takes a little bit longer. We don't want that kid to immediately be like, and I'm out of the loop already. So we give them a 5-minute buffer on purpose. So you have a 10-minute opening small group. It's always relational and setting up the story. So this was from this past week. Okay, so this was from just yesterday. An opening small group was about what kind of sounds do you hear on a playground? And now it's just open discussion for kids. Man, you're on a playground. Let's go through a list of the kinds of things that you would hear. And at the end, it's going to tell you what to say right down here. And it says, one of God's favorite sounds is the sound of our prayers. And we'll find out what the words we lift up to God, and we'll find out that the words we lift up to God are not just noise, that God hears us. And then we're going to go into the story about Hannah, who's praying to God. She's crying at the wall. Eli comes out. He's the priest. It's the story of the birth of Samuel, essentially. So that's it. That's the first 10 minutes is just, hey, and as a sub, you might say, hey, my name's Trevor. You might not know who I am, but your normal leader is out. Who is your normal leader, by the way? Oh, Aaron. Aaron's your normal leader. Oh, awesome. Aaron's gone this weekend, so I'm here filling in. You do that opening small group at the 15-minute mark. So at 8:15, we're going to come together for large group. I send you the large group stuff, but my only rule for you is don't anticipate, just participate. You're not going to be on stage hosting. You're not going to be up on stage leading the worship. You don't have to teach the lesson, okay? We're going to play a silly game. We're going to do a memory verse. Just participate in the silliness that it is. When it's time to watch the story video, just sit with the kids and watch the story video. It's very simple. So that when you go back to your small groups, you have so many options. And I do this because I don't want you to ever be at a place where you feel like I don't have enough time, or sorry, I have too much time and I'm out of stuff to do. Kids smell that and they attack it. So you always will have too much stuff to do. The goal is never to do it all. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you, as the sub who doesn't have the relationship, sometimes you're trying to do the serious application questions, and kids are starting to get a little bit squirrely. It's been about 45 minutes into the service. And as someone with that relationship, you can kind of tell them like, hey, knock that off. You don't have that. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't try and do the application questions, but our goal is never like do the questions and then do the scripture questions, then application questions, then the prayer, then the verse. That's just the order it's in on this. If you just said, hey, who can tell me what our story was today? Awesome. Ask one question. Say, man, do you trust that God hears our prayers? Why or why not? Like, why do you think that God hears our prayers? And let him have that conversation. And it might take 2 minutes and it might take 8 minutes, and both are okay. And then we're going to give you this week, they had a Father's Day coloring page. And so you could do that and then go, man, you know what? Let me pray for our group, or who wants to pray for our group, and let a kid pray. If no one wants to, we literally write out a prayer that you can just go, man, would someone just read this prayer for us? We're just teaching kids to flex that muscle of prayer. They do that. You have a game or some sort of activity, and you play that game with them. You do that with them. Again, you're kind of the fun aunt, fun uncle in this situation. I don't expect you to go, let's do prayer requests and, let's remember what everyone prayed for last week. You didn't see them last week. You're not going to see them next week. You're there once a month. So don't get this like, I have to be the greatest small group leader. You go, no, 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 no. My job as a sub is to still give these kids the opportunity to hear the Bible, hear about Jesus, while the other small groups didn't have to add 10 kids to their group, so that the regular leader that's over there gets to still go deep with those kids. They get to have a consistent building relationship with their leader. I understand you aren't doing that in your group, but what you are doing is still giving kids a great hour. They're going to have so much fun. And it's just allowing for other groups to have that relational time. So when that is done, when you're done with your second small group, parents come, they start to pick up. You may be asked to help do check-in or check-out. So as a parent, you would know this. If you're not a parent and you're just subbing, let me explain something. The kids have a name tag. It has a 4-digit code right here. Parents, you have the matching code. It's as simple as, hey, when Braden's mom shows up, you say, Braden, your mom's here. And Braden comes over and you just line up the 2 tags. You're checking code to code. When that's done, the kid leaves. When all your kids are gone, you're done. It's that simple. And again, what you're doing is you're making a huge, huge impact. So there are some other things that on the day of, I or another leader will show you, like, hey, what if a kid needs to go to the bathroom? Great. We'll show you, we'll teach you, we'll tell you. But for the purpose here, you're going to get this to prepare from. It's going to be really straightforward. Nothing that we do reinvents the wheel. It is, if you can read, then you can do this, and you can do this well. Honestly, if you prepare and know what you're doing, you're going to do a great job. And so I just want to say thank you. The next thing you'll hear from me is you're going to get an invite to join Planning Center Services. That's our scheduling service. And you're going to get an invite to join that. And then you're going to be invited to come in for a weekend where we will not make you run a group by yourself on your first weekend. We'll pair you up with someone, we'll pair you up so that you can see it in action, get to kind of see just the whole format. And then we get to go from there. So thank you so much. Sorry, I hope this video will be shorter, but man, I really want to make sure that you feel equipped and prepared. And also that you just hear me say, again, how grateful I am. This makes a huge impact on our ministry, especially through the summer months when things get a little bit lean. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace out.